Most people don't understand that artificial intelligence is already everywhere. They predict the weather, control search engines, and are even used in prosthetics. AI has already taken over the world and controls much of the things that we do. Recently, many labs have been trying to take it one step further by making AI more human-like. They're being programmed to act like us, talk like us, mimic our tasks, and this has raised many concerns on what AI means for our society and humanity. Even Stephen Hawking said, "The rise of powerful AI will either be the best or the worst thing to ever happen to humanity." But before we get into all that, let's start from an unconventional standing point. Let's talk about ducks. Almost everyone knows what a duck is, right? But what makes a duck a duck? Is it the webbed feet and beak? Is it the signature quack noise that comes about? The traditional duck test gives a conventional reasoning that if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Now we can talk about humans, and moreover compare them to AI. The same type of abductive reasoning applies. If AI can mimic humans indistinguishably, then they'll be treated and recognized as such. And this logic tends to make most people mad, simply because it just doesn't sit right with them. They ask, we can't be the same as machines. We're conscious, they're not. But at the end of the day, what even is consciousness? Nobody knows. Scientists and philosophers have some partial explanations, but none of them account for the whole phenomenon. A growing number of people now believe that such a concept can't even be defined. Similar to how we don't know what makes a duck, we don't know what makes a human. But the closest thing we could do is study behavior. And we do this all the time without even thinking about it. When a boxer gets knocked out, he's said to be unconscious. You make the assumption that your best friend is conscious and not a pre-programmed machine because his or her behavior is so complicated and so intricate that it has to stem from consciousness. Similarly, AI does not need to be conscious to be human. It just needs to mimic consciousness. And if this does truly happen, society and humanity as we know it might come to an end. Right off the bat, we can expect higher rates of unemployment and wealth inequality, as jobs are won by AI rather than humans. But in this case, it's not just one job or even one field. It's all of the jobs. Even the jobs that once required a so-called human touch is being taken over. AI recently has started to make healthcare decisions. They've started to get into the classroom setting and serve as TAs, without the students even recognizing it was a TA. From a personal perspective, what does it mean for us to have a copycat that acts and talks like us, also do everything better than us? In the end, what happens to all things that copies get made of? When we print more money, the value of each bill gets degraded. Similarly, the value of human life is reduced when there's a copy of it, especially if it's an accessible and better copy. Why worry about human inventions and discoveries when AI can solve unsolved problems or rediscover the theory of relativity in the time it took Einstein to blink? That's why we need to be concerned. An AI-focused, data-centric world is not designed to preserve or protect humanity, mostly due to its inherent flaws. As Stephen Hawking indicated, it could help humanity do marvelous things. It could cure diseases, it could come up with solutions for global warming or world poverty. However, on a fundamental basis, the two clashing ideologies of AI versus human, perfection versus flaws, intelligence versus consciousness could downright destroy our sense of humanity and society.